Okay, we have a new opponent. We've crossed 2300. So this is where it's going to get really challenging. Not that it wasn't below 2300, but here I expect it to get more difficult. 2284 from Denmark. Sicilian defense, open Sicilian. Do we go with a quick f4 here or bishop to e2 first? No, actually let's go bishop g5 and then I was planning queen f3 potentially, but now that's not really an option. I think the best move here is knight to b3, but I am willing to go knight e2 knight g3. That's also an option. And play like this and we have control over the f5 square. Bishop e2 and then castling either short or long depending on what he does. Okay, he doesn't castle. Let's see where he's going to castle first before we castle. I think castling long is a good option here now because this bishop is close behind the pawn. How quickly is b5 b4 coming, and is that a problem? Probably it isn't, because b5 b4 knight to d5, this pawn is protected by the knight on g3. So at the same time, if I castle short, the idea is to play f4. Okay, if I castle long and he castles short, how quick is my attack? Probably then his attack is quicker, because I have quite a few pieces in the way of the pawn storm. So let's play it safe. Let's just wait for a mistake here. Yeah, normal move, rook to c8. He's still not castling, that's really strange. Okay, I cannot play f4 because he has queen to b6 with a check and attack on the pawn on b2. So let's move away. He has to castle at some point. He's not going to leave his king like this. Okay, that's really strange. Yeah, now f4 is coming and I think I have a slight initiative. I'm not worried about knight to c4. I'll just take with the bishop. I think I might get a slight initiative here because of the e5 pawn push. Let's see. And then if he takes, I take on f4 and I have an attack on the d6 pawn. Yeah, I have to take the knight, I believe. If I take here first, that's not good. Then he has this move, unfortunately. He takes with the bishop. He has bishop to c4 after f5. I don't have to play f5 though. I can just play something like, I can play knight to f5 now. That's a really interesting move. Knight to f5. But that's not ideal, because after all the captures, he can attack here. And even if he takes my knight, I have to take with the pawn, and then what do I have on the king's side? Nothing. Can I exploit the fact he hasn't castled yet? Probably not at this stage. If I take though, I can shut down everything here. I can just take and just play knight to d5, or maybe I can play knight to d5 first. No, let's take and open the f-file. I think that's one of the ways to exploit the fact he hasn't castled yet. Now that's interesting. Can I blockade everything by playing knight to d5? But then this pawn is weak. Let's see. Now he has an attack on this pawn. Not enough time, unfortunately. Okay, let's go with this. Take with the rook or take with the pawn? Take with the pawn. Yeah, I'll take with the pawn, because if he takes, then after all the captures I can play f6 eventually. Yeah, he takes that, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I can even take here. Let's take here, attacking his knight. And f6 is coming at some point. I don't think he can stop it. Maybe he has this really annoying move, rook to c6. Okay, he has that as well. What can we do here? I want to keep the f6 option on the table. Yeah, that's it. I think I'm decisively better here now. Let's see if that is the case. He can come here. Then I surely have something with this move. This knight is not very good. I have a rook lift, rook to f3, rook to h3. I think that's pretty good. And this pawn is not easy to attack. This knight is almost useless. Let's see. It's looking good. It's looking good, but the remaining time is really not going to help. 47 seconds. Okay. I cannot take. There's no checkmate. He runs. But then his pieces are kind of awkward here. His rooks are disconnected, so maybe I have something like bishop takes here. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. Let's try this. He takes the pawn. I didn't see that. Maybe that's not too bad though. Maybe that's not too bad. He doesn't have to leave this file, unfortunately. He can stay on this file. But then rook to f3, rook from h3 to f3. I think that would be good. 22 seconds. I think my position is better here, but with this time it's going to be very hard to win. Yeah, he's just going to dig in somehow, unfortunately. This knight is very loose. I can try and double attack this knight somehow. Maybe with queen to b7. That's going to be very unpleasant for him. Yeah, his rooks are disconnected. Essentially, he's playing down a piece here. He is actually playing down a piece. And now if he moves away, I can just take this. I can just take this with a winning position. So he has to stay here. He cannot even protect this square, can he? That is most likely winning. But then queen to e7. Yeah, queen to e7. "15 seconds. Yeah, I think I can manage a draw here. Because he always has to defend this pawn. Okay, let's try this now. And rook to f3 again is the threat. I didn't see that. Wait a minute, he's pinned now. Can I play rook to f6? 5 seconds. Yeah, I can't do it with 5 seconds. Okay, it cannot be done, unfortunately. There definitely was a win in that position, but with so little time, it's very hard to find it. So that will be losing. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you can't win them all. Let's analyze this game, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, we had another knight off in this game. Here, I was not allowed to play my system because after this e5 move... Funny enough, I didn't know that knight to f5 is a good move here. Because after this... you have bishop f6, but then so what? Queen f6. And you have knight d5 here. And if he goes back, you take... And yeah, this needs to be studied. I simply wasn't aware that knight to f5 is actually a close to winning advantage here. So very interesting. Knight f6, bishop g2. Okay. So we are trying to exploit the fact he doesn't have a light square bishop anymore. And if this knight gets exchanged, we have a very strong positional game here where he has a really bad bishop and a weak pawn on d6. At the same time, we control a lot of space and the light squares are very weak. So that is something to note in this variation. So I went for the standard plan here, where I actually like playing f4 and just go for some kingside play basically. Also, you can play against the weak d6 pawn. Here, there's another move, which is very, very unusual. Here, knight d5, and doesn't that just lose a pawn? That's, once again, this is a very theoretical line that you have to know. And I just went with the standard plan here, not realizing that there's something better potentially. So bishop takes, this takes. But then what if knight takes? What if knight takes? Bishop a6, that's a crazy intermediate move. And okay, you can then attack the rook. And in case of rook to b8, rook fd1, this is crazy computer stuff. Because, yeah, I'm not even down a pawn here. I'm not even down a pawn, which you would think I would be. Okay, this is the line we're looking at, is the a4. Yeah, because you're capturing a pawn with this bishop takes a6. Very, very interesting stuff. This is well worth knowing because this automatically means that you have a winning game here, essentially. Right, okay, let's go back to the game, because I had definitely an advantage at a later stage in the game. Here this is not good, funny enough, because the d6 pawn is protected and he has knight to c4 at some point. ef5 takes, yeah, okay, that is why this is probably not a good idea. So you have to take here and then play knight to h5. That's actually very good. That is very, very good. So multiple winning advantages, opportunities here, which were missed by me in this game. And I don't seem to know this line very well, so that's something to work on. But here, this is completely winning for white again. Bishop to b5, excuse me. Yeah, you've got the open e-file, and this is completely crushing. I should have seen this tactic. Yeah, I should have seen this tactic. I just didn't realize. Okay, funny tactic indeed. Okay. See what happened in the game. Okay, rook a to e1. Yeah, I thought I just need to play against h6. And rook to e1, why is that such a good move? Of course, because of the e7 square. Yeah, multiple missed winning opportunities here, unfortunately. But there are games like this where you're not very familiar with the position, and even though there's obvious winning opportunities, you have never seen them, and you tend to miss them. Anyway, point taken. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.